my name is Prem Kamath and I'm the General Manager for Channel V.
To start with, here we'll talk about the new look of the Channel V, the logo, about the packaging and all.
Sure.
So just tell us that why did you have to change the look? I mean, because Channel V was obviously doing well, doing better in terms of when it turned to from music to
That's
reality.
right. Sure.
So what was, the need for a change?
Sure. Two, three things. One, I believe that this is an evolution from where we were. I do believe that, and it's something that we've learned over the years, that in the youth segment, the need for variety, the need for refreshing something, the need for change is significantly higher than probably regular GECs or regular channels. Yeah. And we're reflecting that in two aspects. So one, of course, is we're refreshing the way the channel looks, and therefore the logo and the broadcast design and the baseline and those elements of the brand. But we're also refreshing it significantly in terms of content, which is fundamentally the backbone of any channel. And we're doing it in two ways. The number of slots that we have still remain the same, but we are moving one of the slots from a daily, 5 days a week, 6 days a week strip into 3 bi-weeklies. So that lets us bring in 3 shows in place of 1, adding that much more variety to the channel. So on the 25th of November, we'll actually be launching, we are replacing 2 of our existing shows, but we are replacing them with 4 shows, adding that much more variety. What doing bi-weeklies or doing shorter form, and the other aspect about these bi-weeklies is that they're all fixed duration, so they have a finite beginning and an end. So all of them are 52 episodes, 2 episodes a week, so they'll run for 26 weeks. And so even before the first shot was taken, we had the complete storyline penned down from beginning to end. What that lets us do is lets us bring in a whole variety of talent who typically otherwise not have come into television because they don't want to commit the kind of time that dailies take, which is really writing away their entire life for the next 1 year to this one show. So we have people who write teen literature, we have people like Joy Datta who's written several books which are bestsellers coming on board. We have people like Naseem who's written movies coming on board. So it's let us bring in not just variety. So of the 3 shows that we're launching, one is a confessional, a blog-like confessional. The second is a thriller. The third is a sitcom. And all of these are formats or kind of stories that would not have been possible with a daily format. So we firmly believe that both variety as well as periodic change is very essential if you have to stay relevant to the youth. And both change in logo, change in baseline, change in the kind of programming we are doing are really reflective of that.
Okay. So what the new logo stands for?
The new logo is still Channel V. It has a corner folder which says, so the baseline is correct hai. That's the new baseline we are going with. And that's reflective of what we've defined as the brand character, which is politically incorrect, emotionally correct. So we believe that there are a whole load of youth issues today which they believe inherently deep down inside that there is a certain way to do it, and yet people around them, society, parents are actually telling them to go another path. As a brand, Channel V is fundamentally encouraging them to listen to that inner voice, and if something feels so right, we're telling them it can't be wrong. And that's really what politically incorrect, emotionally correct is. And that's what is reflected in the baseline, which is correct. There are a whole set of brand films which we can share with you. So there are 4 which are ready and there are 4 more which will be created. They're simple 15-second brand films which capture this thought of correct. And apart from this, there are promos for each of the show, etc. And even the shows fundamentally reflect this philosophy of correct. So one of the shows is about a girl who has grown up in a very patriarchal household whose dream is to pursue engineering, right? And who actually gets into an engineering college. So at one level she is battling people on her home front who are asking her, why do you want to go out, stay in a hostel, do engineering, etc. And all you have to do is get married. And having gotten into engineering colleges, is battling a whole set of guys because it's fundamentally a male domain, saying what's a girl doing here? So that's one show which again comes from this whole place of correct. What feels so right can't be wrong because that's what she's doing. Panch is a show which is a revenge-based show where a girl is seeking revenge and justice for her sister who was murdered. And that again is exactly that. The third is a sitcom about guys and girls and how guys and girls are fundamentally different. So all of these shows also spring forth from this philosophy of character and reflect this philosophy.
So was there any survey or any research done, before, you're changing the brand and the logo?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we work slightly differently from all the other channels in the sense that in most channels, the way a concept is chosen is that there are story ideas which come by, and usually they're choosing that this story seems interesting, can we create this? We have a slightly different approach. So what we do is we identify 25 key hot buttons for youth, and we try and find insights in each of those hot buttons. And once we find that there is an interesting insight on some particular thing, we say, can we create a show out of this? So we take that insight and we brief production houses on that insight. We brief writers on that insight and ask them to come back with a concept based on that insight. So Tellychakkar has come out of that, Punch has come out of that. All the shows that we've done fundamentally come out of those insight that we identify first. Therefore, the research we've done is on an ongoing basis. And yes, the brand understanding, where the baseline comes from, all of it comes from this central pool of understanding.
Which two shows replacing?
The two shows that are being replaced are Supreme Google, Student of the Year, which has been there, Topper of the Year, which has been there for a while. And the second show that it's replacing is CSI, which is Crazy Stupid Ishq, which is not as old, but we do feel that the story has reached its logical conclusion, so we don't want to drag it on anymore.
Okay. So this packaging and all, how it is going to help the channel?
So packaging, it's by itself, I don't believe helps any channel, or no one watches a channel for its packaging nor for its graphics. But it just, when it's coupled with a lot of change in terms of content, either in direction or in volume or in the variety, which is what we are doing, I think it adds in giving a certain degree of freshness, a certain degree of newness to the channel, both for existing as well as new viewers. Of course, with the new baseline, of course, that's reflected in the packaging, and we have idents which capture that baseline. But I don't think anyone believes that merely changing packaging of a channel will help in any way. But it does help in your changing content as well.
Okay. So, but at the end, your target audience remains youth.
Absolutely. So there's no question about that. We're talking to young audiences. What we're creating is basically a youth general entertainment channel. We believe very firmly that there is a huge market for youth-centric content. We also believe very firmly that a lot of GECs, or the kind of content that youth are consuming today, they're consuming for the lack of variety, for the want of any other viable option. And what we are trying to create is that viable option.
So how do you plan to promote this new development on all online platforms?
So online forms a big part of our marketing push. The idea is to get the video, as many video views for the promos, for the communication, for the messages. We believe that the content is highly, highly differentiated. And once people actually sample this or get a taste of it, they'll understand that this is very different from the kind of shows that they've been watching. And therefore, the entire thrust of our marketing campaign is to try and get as many video samples as possible. So we will be doing online buys, we will be seeding the videos. We are hoping some of them will go viral as well, because we believe the brand films are really interesting and very different, and they capture a popular sentiment. So the objective, both with the Star network, the television network, as well as with everything that we are doing online, is to try and get the flavor of the shows across as much as possible through the audiovisual medium to as many people as possible.
And what about the OOH and television promos? Obviously, I think.
Yes, so we'll be using the entire Star network for it. So we will be using Star network. We're also doing paid buys outside. We will be using some element of outdoor, on-ground cinemas strategically, but I don't think that will form the primary basis of our plan, because the fundamental idea is to try and get people to sample the audiovisual content of these shows as much as possible.
Okay, and you just spoke about the brand films.
That's right.
So when they are planning to go?
So we are populating the brand films online almost immediately.
Okay.
But on air we will be putting them only on the 25th, once the new content is on air as well. Okay. Because we do believe that once people see the brand films and see the new promise of the brand films, once they switch on to channel B, they should see a completely refreshed channel.
Completely. And a new
avatar of the channel.
Because I know that Star Network they are known for doing something never seen before content. You
So I really hope that I do believe that the shows that we are creating are in that direction. For example, there's never been a youth sitcom that's ever been done, and certainly not of this nature. So once you see the show, you'll get a sense that I don't know if it's going to succeed or if it'll fail, but that's something we can know only after the show is made. But it's definitely an attempt that's to create something that's very different.
So can you define the channel V viewer in terms of demographics and psychographics?
Sure. So in terms of demographics, I guess because of the way TAM is structured and the audience measurement in TAM is, we define it as 15 to 24 ABC. Okay. But I don't think that's necessarily a very homogeneous group. So internally we operate through a psychographic definition of youth, as you've stated.
Yeah.
And for us, we define youth as that period between childhood and the time you gain economic independence. Right? So you're no longer a child, but you haven't started earning on your own. And that life stage is what we define as the youth life stage, because we believe that that life stage brings a whole set of unique issues. It brings in a whole set of unique attitudes, a whole set of unique experiences, which are common between the 15 and the 24-year-old. And that it's that mindset that we really try and talk to create anything that's relevant for them.
So what time slot you guys are targeting with the new
This will be
shows?
6 to 7. So it's two
6 to
slots that
7.
we're doing, 6 and 6:30. Those are the two slots.
Like early prime time.
That's right.
So I mean, are you like, yeah, but I think in other GCs most of they air reruns and all that.
No, so Star Plus, for example, has original content at 6 and 6:30.
6 and 6:30.
Yeah, so both of the slots they have, I think they have original content, and I think some of the other GCs are also getting into it. So most of the GCs are also on this quest of widening their prime time and getting into early prime. But that's been the slots that we've occupied traditionally, and we believe those are our strengths. When we are adding slots, and we plan to add slots sometime in April, maybe we'll look at earlier primes. Maybe we'll go to a 5:30 or a 5. The reason for that is most households are still single TV households, right? And typically family viewing happens in traditional prime time, which is 8:30, 9, etc. So it's logical for us to occupy a different time slot where the youth can watch what they want to.
But don't you think youth can even watch at 10 in the night? Or
Yes, sure, they can.
So
Absolutely. So even 11, for example, Gumrah has a rerun at 11 o'clock, and it does quite well.
Yeah, it does.
Right? So certainly that's
yeah.
certainly a viable slot as well.
Okay. Okay, see, the youth is basically they are the fickle audience.
That's
okay,
right.
with a very short attention span. So how do you keep them engaged? You know, obviously with your content, but apart from that, what you have new to offer to the viewers, you know, every now and then, because there's a competition now everywhere.
Sure.
For example, if I'm just a normal person, okay, I'm not a journalist point of view, but if I'm a normal layman, I'm watching a serial, but I don't like that show, I'll switch off to any.
Sure.
So what new you plan to
So one of the things, like I said, that's reflecting in our content is the fact that these are all finite period shows, right?
Yeah.
So these are 2 days a week, they're not even daily, and they last only 6 months.
Yeah.
And that lets us set a story pace which is much faster. It lets us do things a lot more unpredictable. We don't have to drag storylines. We don't have to just fill in 6 days a week. So that lets us keep the shows tighter, crisper, more unpredictable, and therefore more dramatic. Apart from that, we are also, the other aspect where we engage them, for example, is on social media, right? So we do a lot of stuff on social media. We keep them engaged through contests, through questions, through a whole set of other engagement activities, and that's been another area that's worked really well for us. So we have about 30 lakh people on our Facebook page, but if you include show pages, that number goes up to 50 lakhs. So there's a lot of people who we engage with on social media as well, and that's another avenue where we can keep things fresh, keep doing different things on a daily basis.
Okay. What shows basically are working on the channel? Gumrah, you said one.
Yes, Gumrah has been a big show
Yeah.
for us. D3 has always been a big show for us since the time we launched it, Dil Dosti Dance.
Dil Dosti Dance.
Apart from that, Buddy Project also has been decent. So therefore, these are the shows that continue, along with the 4 new shows that we are launching.
Okay, so what kind of TVTs the channel is getting at present?
So right now it will be
the
about
week 44.
Yeah, it's I think in the range of about 10 to 12,000 TVTs on a weekly basis.
10 to 12,000 TVTs.